Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. It's time to call this special call school board meeting of the San Felipe Adero CISD Board of Trustees, today being Monday, June 30th, 2025. Mr. Secretary, would you call roll for us?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Luna Chavez,
Not here.
Mr. Almaraz,
Present.
Mr. Overfelt,
Not here.
Mr. Mesa,
Here.
Mrs. Webb,
Present.
Mrs. Haynes.
Here.
Sir, you do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let the records show that we do have a quorum of board members and that this meeting was duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This time we will have opening ceremonies, first with a moment of silence for personal reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you again, board members, for being here for another meeting. There's a couple of items on the consent agenda. We don't have anyone that signed up for comments, and so if you have any questions on the consent agenda, Dr. Rios?
Sorry, we need to move the consent agenda items until after we approve the budget. Otherwise, we don't have budget for those consent agenda
Okay.
items.
Okay. Okay, now I get the notice.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mazad. Got caught up in.
Okay. So we'll go straight to number 10, administration. First item that we have is consideration to approve the 2025-2026 Memorandum of Understanding between San Felipe Adero CISD and Valverde Training Center Incorporated in connection with the Valverde VCCT ACE grant. What is VCCT?
Valverde Teaching Center, I think. It's the one that,
Yes, I know what it is. The only thing is there's a VVTC and then there's VCCT. And that I wasn't able to find. But anyway, it's a grant. I think all of us know that it's a grant.
is that, I'm sorry, Jane, is that a typo between the,
I think it might be Dr. Rios. I apologize. No, the contract does say Valverde Training Center, but VVTC, Valverde Training Center.
Yeah, the only thing is the other one, it says VCCT. And I couldn't
I
make heads or
apologize.
tails out of that. So
That
it's
is a
just a
typo.
typo?
That is a typo.
Okay,
I apologize.
thank you.
Good evening. Yes, this is consideration for approval of the 2025-2026 Memorandum of Understanding between San Felipe Del Rio CISD and the Valverde Training Center ACE grant, the 21st Century ACE grant. Students enrolled at Buena Vista and Ceniza Hills are eligible to participate in this after-school and summer program. This is their 5th year of existence, and the goal is to reach 90 students that are enrolled in the program that offers interventions for academics along with enrichment and social support for students and families who are enrolled in that program. San Felipe Del Rio CISD will provide the following items: transportation to the Texas ACE Center, also academic discipline records of students enrolled in the program, coordination of efforts with the program director as needed to ensure review of student progress, STAR results, special programs information, so on and so forth. Provide an evening meal to students enrolled in the program, assist with the recruitment of students and families to enroll in the program, also any other supports and open line of communication. Again, this is the 5th year of existence to service students at Buena Vista and Ceniza Hills Elementary.
Any questions from board members? Jane,
Yes, sir.
or Mrs. Villarreal, do we refer students to the program? And is there a certain category or, I guess if they need tutoring, Dr. Rios?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mesa, members of the board. We coordinate with them the selection of students because it's students that are in need. And I'm happy to report that since we started sharing data with them, we specifically asked them to show students, to show us data of students that demonstrate growth on the STAR test. And the students that were serviced there, particularly in 4th and 5th grade, demonstrated growth. So we're pleased to continue the coordination because it helps the students and obviously the campus and the district.
Well, I kind of wanted to know some detail, like do we send letters out to parents encouraging them to attend?
Well, through the messenger program, the Class Dojo.
Okay. So we are targeting students that do need the
Absolutely.
assistance. Okay. Anyone else? Dr. Rios?
Just want to be clear, because of the way the state measures growth, we definitely target the students that are in most need. But we also have to be careful that the students that score at meets and masters, if they're falling at all below the meets and the masters, still passing, but not at meets and masters, that counts against the school and the district. So we target anybody who is not performing at the level they should be performing, even if it's at the higher level.
Okay. I understand. As long as there's some coordination between the administration and
Yes, sir.
the receiving program in regard to where they are. Yeah, and you mentioned that in the,
They do
They-
get
they
access to
share-
the data
Okay.
for those students. Yes, sir.
okay. Then, do you want to read the recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approves the 25-26 Memorandum of Understanding between San Felipe Del Rio CISD and the Val Verde Training Center as presented and allow Dr. Rios to sign the agreement.
With the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion. Motion made by Mr. Almaraz and seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item 11A, consideration to approve the 2025-2026 on-ramps interlocal agreement between San Felipe Del Rio CISD and the University of Texas at Austin, Office of Strategy and Policy for the on-ramps dual enrollment program. Jane Villarreal.
Good evening again, Board President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. This item is for the consideration to approve the 25-26 on-ramps interlocal agreement between San Felipe Del Rio CISD and the University of Texas at Austin for the on-ramps dual enrollment program. This on-ramps offers courses that are face-to-face classroom instruction coupled with online materials and activities that support learning in and outside of the classroom. Each on-ramps course aligns with the existing equivalent course at the University of Texas using innovative pedagogies that train students for higher order cognitive activities such as problem solving and application that post-secondary success requires. This agreement is, it enters us in an agreement to implement the on-ramps. We have two courses. The two courses are an introduction to geoscience. Let me grab those really quick. That is also titled Earth, Wind, and Science, an introduction to geoscience. And we also offer discovery pre-calculus, preparation for calculus. During the 25-26 school year, the cost of on-ramps course materials, technical support, course implementation, support outlines in this agreement. We will pay a subsidized fee of $149 from the normal $175.56. And this cost includes any professional learning, any materials, For the professional learning, any technology tools, technical assistant for the implementation during the entire term. There is also, this also includes any of the materials that the students will be using. So this agreement runs from June the 1st to August 31st, 2026. And that's it.
I know this program has proven to be very effective, and I know Lauren Cardenas does a tremendous job here. We also see that when we receive our report on progress for students that are on ramps.
Yes,
And so I know over the years, I've kept track of how many students do receive credit, dual credit, in regard to on ramps. Any questions from board members? If not, you want to read the recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the on-ramps interlocal agreement with the University of Texas at Austin as presented and allow Dr. Rios to sign the agreement.
First recommendation, there was a motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
We'll go on to item 13, Business and Finance. Consideration to approve the 2024-2025 final amendment budget for the general operating debt service and food service funds. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, we do have three agenda items under Business and Finance, and they are to, the first one, 13A, is the final amended budgets for 2024-2025 General Fund, Debt Service Fund, and our Food Service Fund. Then I will also be doing as item 13B, a resolution to commit fund balance of general fund excess fund balance from 2024-25. And item C will be to then commit those commitments to our 2025-2026 budget. So the first item I have is the 2024-25 final amended budgets. And you do have a copy of the PowerPoint as well as the actual financials in front of you. The first amended budget I have is for the general fund on Exhibit 1, page 1. For our proposed revenue budget, I am proposing to increase our revenue budget in the amount of $1,673,300, which will provide us with a proposed revenue budget of $103,981,464. For our proposed expenditure budget, we are only doing amendments between functions, so there is no increase or decrease. For a proposed expenditure budget of $114,039,625, which will be a proposed budget deficit, which includes both our operating and committed activity of a deficit of $10,058,161 for our general fund. The next budget I have is
Hold on, Amy.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Just, is there any questions on that first section of the deficit? I want to make sure that, well, it includes all the committed funds from last year for both the operating and any of the construction projects, anything that we did. It's not just a $10 million deficit.
Correct.
We good? Okay.
Okay. The next budget,
That's all your word.
the next budget I have is for our debt service fund, which is Exhibit 1, page 2. At this time, I'm proposing a revenue budget of $6,158,360. Again, there are amendments that are being moved between the revenue sources but are netting out with zero. For our expenditure budget, I'm not proposing any additional amendments, so our proposed expenditure budget will be $7,006,793 for a proposed budget deficit of $848,426 on our debt service. Any questions on that one? Okay. And for,
Question.
oh, sorry.
Question. So, let me see if I understand this correctly. On the deficit, this is going to be paid from the fund balance that we have from the debt service.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, this is just strictly operating for the revenues minus expenditures for this current year, but we do have a fund balance that will cover this. All right. And then our final budget is for our food service fund. I am proposing that we increase our revenue budget in the amount of $665,000 for a proposed revenue budget of $8,311,323. For expenditures, I am not proposing any additional amendments. So we will have a proposed expenditure budget of $9,990,331 for a proposed budget deficit of $1,679,008. But again, we do have a fund balance in that fund to cover this.
I was going to ask the same question.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for answering.
And Ms. Childers, most of that deficit was for most of the new equipment that we outfitted all the cafeterias with, correct?
Yes, sir, we rolled part of the prior year's fund balance to buy new equipment. Yes, sir.
Just, if I may make a comment here. During the whole year, never heard a complaint from cafeteria personnel, whether equipment that is broken or things that are not working, did not hear one unless somebody else did. Anyone?
Small,
Which-
but nothing major.
Which means that things have gotten much better because again, there were equipment that was warmers and things that were not working, and so did not hear a single complaint myself. So it's something positive that has never happened before. So thank you.
Thank you.
Whoever's looking out for those items that are old and obsolete and replacing them with newer items is working.
Do you want me to do the resolution for this item or do all three?
No, I think we're ready to go on to the next item.
Okay. For the next item, this will be on your Exhibit 2. This is for the general fund commitments. This is for the estimated activity for our 2024-25 year.
I'm sorry, Amy. Mr. Massa, her specific question was, the slides she just covered right now cover specifically 13A.
13A.
So do you want to take a vote on 13A, and then she'll present the slides for 13B so we don't confuse them?
Okay, that's fine. We can.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the 2024-2025 final budget, amended budgets, which includes the general fund, the debt service fund, and the food service fund.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from administration. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Diego Almaraz, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Go on to the general fund commitments.
So for item 13B, this is our general fund commitments. It is also your Exhibit 2, and this is, we are estimating our actual operating. So for the 2025 fiscal year, we are forecasting for our operating revenues of $102,464,693. For commitments, we have no revenue for that. So our total revenues for the general fund, we are forecasting $102,464,693. For expenditures, for our operating, we are forecasting total expenditures of $101,898,481. For our committed projects, $6,076,983. So in total, for our general fund, we are forecasting total expenditures of $107,975,464. That brings us to an operating forecast of an excess of $566,212. For our committed projects, a deficiency of $6,076,983, for an overall total forecast for our general fund, a deficiency of $5,510,771.
Okay, Amy, so right here, I was asking Dr. Rios, that 566,000, that is the carryover from last year.
No, this is our operating, when I just take my operating revenues minus my expenditures for this year.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, Amy, just to clarify, the $500,000 that's there, that's
Yes.
what we did not spend this year.
For 24, 25,
Whether,
yes, sir.
and it includes not spending it, maybe athletics didn't use all of their budget.
Yes, sir.
may-
Travel, whatever.
Travel.
Favorability
Okay, that's
payroll,
what we
yes, sir.
didn't spend.
Correct.
So that goes on to,
That will go into our fund balance, yes. Yes.
And then just to further clarify the muddy waters, the $6 million deficit there, that includes both the deficit budget we had predicted and dedicated money from fund balance towards it and projects, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because we did commit certain funds, yeah,
We
okay.
commit, yes, sir. We committed over $8 million for committed, yes, yes.
okay.
But only spent the 6. Okay, so when I take the deficit of the $5.5 million, and when I add that to our beginning fund balance for 24, 25 of $40,046,325, along with my warehouse inventory of $446,869, we are estimating to end our 2024-25 general fund balance of $34,088,685. Now then, from that, I subtract our estimated minimum fund balance that we're required to have, the cash on hand of 75 days, which is $21,629,842. So that leaves us with an estimated excess fund balance for 2024-25 of $12,458,843. And then from that, administration is requesting this evening, you have a resolution in front of you to commit $5,641,556 of that excess fund balance. The projects that we'll be committing, we will be recommitting from the 2024-25 commitment projects. The Cody Wardlaw Gym renovation, we have the city contribution of $475,644. The Cody Wardlaw Gym renovation, the district contribution of $574,059. The Del Rio Middle School parking lot project of $1,105,000. Security fencing at San Felipe Memorial Middle School of $311,229, and the purchase of the Water Street property for $50,000. In addition, we are asking to commit new projects for 25-26 year for continuation of our self-funded insurance claims, $100,000. The middle school turf at San Felipe Memorial Middle School and Garfield Middle School for $650,000. HVAC repairs or maintenance needed at Garfield Middle School, $100,000. HVAC repairs and maintenance at Del Rio High School, $50,000. HVAC repairs and maintenance at Cardwell Elementary, $105,000. HVAC repairs and maintenance at Ruben Chavita Elementary, $30,000. HVAC repairs and maintenance at Lamar Elementary, $486,000. The Del Rio High School Stadium lights, $810,000. The San Felipe Memorial Middle School gym floor refinish for $25,000. The district warehouse asphalt replacement, $100,000. The purchase of 3 used service vehicles for our maintenance department, $150,000. The purchase of 2 service vehicles for our security department, $95,500. The purchase of 2 used service vehicles for our warehouse department, $100,000. Campus metal detectors, $195,262. And then I have a couple of miscellaneous purchase order carryovers that we'd like to bring forward in the amount of $128,862. That's what makes up the proposed committed fund that we're requesting of $5,641,556.
Questions from board members? Mr. Almaraz?
Yeah, just a couple. The security fencing at San Felipe Memorial Middle School, that's the entire area, right, including the Waters Street property that we've bought. That's the fencing that we've talked about, right, over the last several meetings?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making sure. And the stadium lights, what are we adding to that? LED or what's?
Yes, sir, it's LED lights. Right now, it looks dim, and then replacing the lights is expensive. We've had this on our projects for a while now, so this is the first opportunity we have. I don't know that they'll get replaced before football season, but definitely before graduation, and then they'll be good for the next 30 years.
Good, yeah, because it is pretty dim. One thing I'd like to look at, and maybe we can visit that, is the practice field for baseball. It's pretty bad. So if we have some money, or that we can use for that kind of project, I don't think that field has been touched in over a decade. It's in dire need of some work. So we can allocate some funds to that and get these boys, something that they could use, because there's a need for that.
The long-range plan, and we still have some AC needs that are coming up, and we'd like to include them in the bond, but we're expecting sometime this year an additional $5 million from the
wind farm?
from the wind farm. So if the budget goes well, then the board will have some money to allocate to some projects. We feel strong about the budget, especially after the legislature provided what they provided. So there'll be some money whether we can consider upgrading the softball field or going with the long-range plan that we have and creating a baseball field and softball field right next to each other. So they'll hopefully here in the next couple of months, there'll be a good opportunity to discuss some additional renovations, but that's certainly on the list.
Okay, good, thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Galindo?
And just a quick question, and after this approval, again, we're looking at it right now. The gym floor refinish for San Felipe Memorial, I mean, that one's pretty rough as well. That along with the turf that was discussed for Garfield and SFMMS, can you just give a timeline on that, what y'all are looking for, just to make sure that as we get into the middle school season, everything's all on par, one school with another to see?
The turf, the floor at San Felipe Memorial will be immediate. They should be able to get that done before school starts. The turf, just today, we received the drawings. So we expect to bring a contract to the board during the July board meeting. Now, one of the people that bid said they could get it done by the end of August.
Okay.
But that was when we expected to have it approved at a special call meeting here like today. But we are running a few weeks behind on that. But I know that our purchasing director, Ms. Paula Johnson, she's putting on the selection criteria, the timeliness of it. How soon can they start and how soon can they finish? So here when we bring it for approval in July, we'll have a much better timeline. So the turf, not as early as the basketball court, but the basketball court should be ready well before school starts.
Okay, and just real quick on the HVAC on all the schools, I know we have this in a line item later on. Is Lamar part of this, what we're looking at? And with that, on top of the others, if there's not any campuses with a well-working AC because of just the work that's being done, we're not looking at having any areas that are going to be worrisome come August 11th, are we?
No, sir. Right now, the only areas that are in immediate need are Lamar and Cardwell. And that's what we want to get done here before school starts. We're not anticipating any major breakdowns. Now, having said that, Del Rio Middle School is operating under one chiller.
Okay.
And that's why Schneider is working on a plan to have a solution for that. But we're not expecting it to break down.
Oh, definitely. I think just the bigger question was just to make sure if there's an area that did not have an operable AC, that they would be at least operating at a comfortable rate come August.
Yes, sir. And to be fair and honest, at Lamar, it's the cafeteria and the gym that are
Okay.
huge need. And at Cardwell, I also believe it's a cafeteria. I know it's not a classroom, but still, we want all of it to work.
Definitely. No, and a huge thanks on everything else that y'all were able to include for these projects. There are some things in there that are really, really needed, or they're all very much needed. And to be able to try to get it all on this go around and include them and getting the input from everybody, that's amazing. So again, thank you for that, and for putting these funds forward to try to progress operations and the look of the district and making sure that every single person, whether you're a student or you're an employee, has what they need to continue on. So a huge thank you to y'all on that.
Thank you. So, big question for Amy. Amy, the amount that you have for Cardwell is $105,000 air conditioning, and then when I look at the consent agenda, it's $33,000. So, why is the big difference there? First item, consent agenda, F1.
Yes.
Not to exceed $33,480.
The item on the agenda is correct, Mr. Mesa. Which one are you referring to?
Yes, we just left some in there in case there were
Committed.
further maintenance needed in the committed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
We put that amount in there in case additional maintenance needed to be done. So we know we have this purchase order, but that way there would be funds still available in case we needed additional repairs there at Cardwell.
That's a huge difference, though, from 105 to 33,000. Here, the 105.
No, I think, no, I know exactly, I'm sorry, I know exactly what happened. The repairs, the long-range repairs, when we identified the areas that needed to get fixed at Garfield, at Cardwell, it is $105,000 for Lamar, I'm sorry, for Cardwell. Unfortunately, right now, just this past week, one unit broke down that we cannot repair, and it would be part of this $105,000. So we didn't just include the items that needed repairing right away. So for example, Garfield, there's $100,000 there. Ruben Chavita, there's $30,000. Cardwell, we had, when Mr. Chapa looked at all the ACs that were near their life expectancy, he identified $105,000 for Cardwell. Today, we're only bringing $30,000 of that item because it broke down. It got ahead of us and broke down earlier. But the other 105 is all part of that study that Schneider did that included all the equipment that was nearing its life expectancy. That's why it's 105 there. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring the other $75,000 for Cartwheel. It's just not
This is
Okay.
immediate, right?
immediate.
Okay, then, one other question in regard to the property. How long are we gonna hold that 50,000 there if things don't, signatures don't, get submitted in time? I don't wanna hold that amount forever and ever.
No, Mr. Mesa, that's up to the board. We obviously are hopeful for that property because we want to add the second gym to San Felipe Memorial. But if the board ever says that's enough, we don't want to pay and hold the money there, then we can. I would recommend to the board that as long as we're not in immediate need of that 50,000, that we hold off for at least this year.
I'm fine with,
Yeah.
well, I think at one point, though, we're gonna have to reach that conclusion because, I mean, if they really want to sell the property, I think we're offering enough, over value to, to serve our purpose. But somebody needs to get on the ball and get the signatures done.
Yes, sir.
And that's all. Thank you.
May I read the resolution? Or?
Yes.
Okay. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution committing the fund balance of the General Operation Fund.
You've heard the recommendation from the administration. There's a motion from Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We go on to the consent agenda.
I have one more, 13C.
I'm sorry. One more. Almost.
Last one.
Okay, you want to go ahead? Business and finance. Hold on. Consideration to approve the general fund budget amendments for 2025, 2026 commitments from fund balance.
Yes, sir. So this is our 2025, 2026 budget that was approved last week. So now I am adding, this is an amendment to add the commitments that you just approved to that budget. So as you can see, we have a general fund, we had a balanced budget. By adding these committed from fund balance, it will show a deficiency of the $5,641,555. But again, that's just because we're adding it from fund balance. When I pair that with our estimated fund balance for 6/30/25 of $34,088,685, I am estimating that our ending fund balance for June of 2026 will be $28,447,131, with our estimated minimum fund balance of the required 75 days of $23,042,682.28. We are estimating that our excess fund balance for the 25-26 year will be $5,404,448.48.
Okay. Questions for Amy?
That the
Mr. Almaraz?
the estimated excess, that's still lacking the wind farm money, correct?
Correct.
For next. That's not accounting for that.
No, that's not accounted in there. We would still add to that.
Perfect.
Hearing no questions, recommendation?
Sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the general fund budget amendment for 2025, 2026 commitments from fund balance.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Motion made by Mr. Diego Almaraz, seconded by Emilio Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now we go on to the consent agenda. It's kind of strange that we had to go into the consent agenda after we took care of all the other business. I'm not used to doing that, but anyway, I think all of us know what it's for. It's gone over a couple of times already. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Motion made by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consent agenda is approved. We go on to human resources. Item 14A, discussion possible action to approve employee job descriptions and evaluation forms. Amy Childers.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, we are bringing to you an update for the position of the early childhood counselor, the job description and evaluation forms.
Any questions for Amy? Yes, Mr. Arlindo?
Just give us a background on this, because there's a lot of changes, there's a lot of, blue and red, and it sees that before it was a mental health disabilities coordinator, now it's an early childhood, just to have that information.
Yes, I'm going to have Ms. Hernandez explain that to you.
Good evening, Mr. Galindo. Thank you very much for the question. The reason for the change is that this particular job description had not been updated to be in compliance with the 80-20 rule and the counselor duties. And so now it is in alignment as the elementary counseling positions are and high school positions are the same. So we worked with those two counseling job descriptions, and we're now bringing the early childhood job description so that it's aligned.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Okay. Want to read the recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job description and evaluation forms as discussed.
At the recommendation from administration, is there a motion? Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Item 14B, consideration to approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plans. I think we've done that like 100 times. Amy Childers.
Good evening. So this is to update the 2025-26. It is the administrative professional pay plan. The only item we're updating is, on page 56, under pay grade 10 for the deputy superintendent. When we approved this, TASB had not given us the pay range, so that's what we are adding to this evening.
Okay. Any questions? No questions. Recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plan as presented.
Heard the recommendation from administration. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go into closed session pursuant to policy 551.074 and 551.071. Again, if any action needs to be taken upon any item discussed in closed session, it will be taken upon reconvening into open session. We're now in closed session. The time is 6:13 p.m. We're in executive session.
Yes, I plan on being.
Okay, the time is 7:12 p.m. No action was taken in executive. We'll reconvene to open session. We're down to item 18A. Consideration to approve the personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations. Amy Childers.
Good evening. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the resignations, retirements, and vacancies presented in closed session and the following new personnel: Samantha Rios, pre-kindergarten teacher at Irene Cardwell Elementary; Andrea Flores, kindergarten bilingual teacher at Buena Vista Elementary; Jamie Vega, second grade teacher at Buena Vista Elementary; Daisy Jones, fourth grade teacher at Ceniza Hills Elementary; and Stephanie Lopez, special education co-teacher at Garfield Middle School.
For the recommendation from administration, I'll entertain a motion. Motion made by Mr. Almaraz, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 18B, consideration to approve the position of speech language pathologist assistant in the special ed department. Amy Childers.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Fernanda de los Santos as speech-language pathologist assistant.
Heard the recommendation, motion made by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
There are being no other items on the agenda, is there a motion for adjournment? Motion made by Amy Haynes, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you and good night, everyone.